Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raity's Rise. We're back here at Lexus of Clearwater, and guess what? I have that one sedan that brings a lot of style and luxury. It's this vehicle right here. This is it. This is a 2025 Lexus IS350 F Sport Design. But before we get into this absolutely drop-dead gorgeous blue IS350, let's talk about what's going on here. So, not a lot of sedans left out there in the automotive world, but Lexus is still moving forward with the IS, and this vehicle directly competes, of course, with one of the main rivals out there, the BMW 3 Series. Now, the nice thing is, you still get that naturally aspirated V6. Yeah, if you want to pony up the coinage, you can go with the IS500 and have a naturally aspirated V8. But for most mere mortals, the IS350 brings a lot of fun driving experience and, like I said, that linear power delivery. Now, if you want to have that sporty style, but you really don't want to go all the way into an F Sport, is the F Sport Design the way to go, especially over a base 3 Series BMW? Let's go ahead, let's dive into this one and see if we can find out. Right off the bat, I've always thought they nailed the style on the IS lineup, even when they first came out with this vehicle so many moons ago. Now, at the front of the business, you'll see that continuation of how Lexus integrates their LED daytime running lamp, that very unique style, turn signal, and our LED headlight. Love the way everything's blacked out on the interior of the housing. Dropping our way down, you do have some functionality of some corner air curtains. The rest of it, though, is fake vent. I am gonna zonk it. It should have some LED fog lights down there. Would have been nice. But you do get the gloss black because this is an F Sport design. You're getting a lot of those F Sport exterior touches. Now, as we come around the front and you have that classic trapezoidal spindle grille design, all gloss black, that Lexus logo has been around since 1989, and you do actually have functionality on those inside vents, and the whole lower lip is going to be gloss black to blend in with the grille. But let me know what you think about the combo of our blue with all the black accents of the F Sport design package. Now, as we rise up, I love that long, low hood. Very simple, clean lines that go into the A-pillars. And then as we come around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire setup. So what you're gonna find are these 19-inch wheels, nice, almost like a dark polished chrome finish. Really love the way they sculpt those. If you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of the tire? Up front, it's 235 on the width, 40 series sidewall. You get a nice size brake caliper there with powder coated flat black finish. And just the blue with that color. I don't know, it's just, Lexus just does something with their colors, especially with the wheels. This sedan as well is still rear wheel drive, which is great because that's going to provide a very unique driving experience. Now, coming down the side, you do get the F Sport badge because this is an F Sport design. The zonk I always have to point out on these freaking F Sports is the chrome finish here. That's a big zonk, but you do get gloss black mirror cap, the rest the blue, standard size sunroof, and on top of that, you are getting the bright shiny metalwork top and bottom. That's a little bit too much bright shiny metalwork when everything else is supposed to be blacked out. I do love the way you have that little peekaboo side sill extension in gloss black, and the way that they sculpt this lower door panel as it goes into the rear passenger door panel. Really great style. I always like the look of these more than a BMW 3 Series. I know that sounds crazy, but that's the truth, Ruth. Now, out back with rear wheel drive, you're gonna get squared set up 235 on the width, 40 series sidewall, naturally aspirated power. Coming to the back trunk area, you do get a gloss black trunklet spoiler, F Sport design package. And then you get your full LED lighting. Love the way they do that. The IS350 badge, I wish they would have blacked that out. But when we drop it down to ground level, you have your stainless steel exhaust, real deal exhaust, nice stainless steel tip, oval opening with a clean lower bumper simulated diffuser area. But I love the lighting on the back of these things. Just the way they sculpt that back portion of the trunk. Well, why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and check out the V6 underneath it. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hood struts. Unlike the BMW, which gives you a 4-banger turbocharged engine, we have naturally aspirated V6 underneath that tasteful engine cover. A lot of cars don't even do engine covers anymore to cover up all the wires. So what do we got going on? That 3.5 liter V6, 311 horsepower, 280 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60 in about 5.4 seconds. Top speed 143 miles an hour. The vehicle weighs 3,811 pounds. MPGs 20 in the city, 28 on the highway. And what's crazy is the IS has been around, not this one, but the IS has been around in Lexus lineup since 2001. That's how long this name badge has been running. But why don't we go ahead, speaking of running, let's fire up this V6 and hear what it sounds like. All right, guys, we're inside this 2025 Lexus IS350 F Sport Design. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, this thing looks good. I love the color. What's the name of it? It's called Ultrasonic Blue. Wow. It's actually a premium optional color. So now if you're wondering, well, Joe, if it has an optional color, how much is it? With the optional color, the optional sunroof, and all the other fixings, you're looking at an MSRP of $47,000. Let's see what you get when you go F Sport Design to the door panels. Love the two-tone. You got that baseball glove tan with the black, and look at the way on the edge of the armrest they did the tan contrast stitching. Very soft. The big zonk, though, is the gloss black around the switchgear. You're gonna make a police detective very happy because they'll be able to dust for fingerprints no problem. Door pocket is decent. One of those Whopper briskets. I know you've been wanting to try it. You've been seeing the commercials, and a large Coke to wash it down. Now going from the door panel to the dash, the two-tone is there. I know you're gonna say it's dated. You may be right. I may be crazy. I don't know, maybe both. But it's still looking good the way they did the two-tone. Now, as you come in, you're getting the base infotainment system, and it really looks base in here. It almost looks like it's out of a Toyota Corolla. 8-inch infotainment system, not a lot to it. The good news is, though, it is full touchscreen. You can get into your climate controls. You can get into your apps, things like that. But other than that, that's all it does. There's not a lot of other features. Pull up the info, get all that good stuff. The graphics are very, very dated. Throw it into reverse. The good news is your backup camera takes up all 8 inches. The bad news is that it's very grainy. But we'll finish off on a good point. You do have the trajectory lines. I don't understand why there's so much black. Like, they couldn't trim that down. I almost want to get like a Dremel tool and kind of Dremel all this dead space out of here. You got your start-stop button for that engine, V6, easy access. Love the classic analog clock. And then you got your plethora of real deal buttons. I like the way you could tap the dual climate controls, or you could slide your finger. Just be careful, because there's a lot of gloss black and you're gonna get your KFC fingerprints all over this. You do have an actual CD player. Remember those books we used to have? You know, it's like back in the day, nobody ever really talked about focus on driving. Don't be looking in your big, huge book of CDs that you had. Remember that, with the little plastic holders, and we would flip while we were drive with your knee, and you'd be like, nobody used to say, hey, don't be distracted driving. Now that everybody texts while they're driving. Just kind of funny. You do get 3 stages of heated seats, no ventilated seats. and I'm okay with this flat black finish. This is gonna control your 8-speed automatic, your different mode selector. I'll show you that when you come to the business side. You do have that old school Lexus touchpad. Don't like using it unless you're in park. But if you don't want to touch the screen, you can touch the touchpad. 2 cup holders with your Lexus key fob, nicely protected. Love the two-tone. Lift it up. You got your little carrying case for your family jewels. And then you got 2 USB-As, an aux jack, a 12 volt, and enough felt lining to where you could put your silver spoon set in here. Has anybody ever told you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth? Well, you could put that silver spoon in here and it's not gonna get scratched. I remember my grandmother had this collection. Every time she went somewhere in the world, whether it be Germany, Italy, Spain, whatever, she'd always buy a souvenir spoon and then have it on display. Kind of weird, but I love my grandmother. Seats, the nice soft material. Let me fix this. This is my OCD. Oh, that feels better. Two-tone. You do have power assist for the passenger. Of course, power assist for the driver. And I already let the cat out of the bag. You have the optional sunroof, manual shade. But why don't you come over here to the business side? I want to show you behind the leather wrap steering wheel in this IS350. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have your seat controls, easy to get to. No lower lumbar, which is kind of sad. I'm 6 feet tall. There's actually a pretty decent amount of room in here. I feel very comfortable. Love Lexus seats. Steering wheel, the leather, flat black on the switchgear. Does it look dated? Yes. I don't mind it. I think it looks just fine. You do have paddles on the back of the wheel to go up and down the 8-speed automatic. And it is a manual tilting and telescoping wheel. And then, believe it or not, you have analog gauges. So analog tach, speedometer, coolant gauge, and fuel gauge. And then you have that small 4-inch digital display that's actually black and white, believe it or not. That is a zonk. They should have at least given you color for, oh, actually there is a little bit of, there we go. We do have a little bit of color. Not much, but a little. But that's what you get when it comes to that small little screen. But I do like the analog gauges. Analog gauges are just, they're gone, and I miss them, especially when they're backlit LED gauges. But why don't we go ahead? We got a back seat to check out. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go see if you can make out in the back seat of this IS350 comfortably. All right, guys, you're on a hot date. You want to go park somewhere? Wink, wink. There's actually a decent amount of room in here. To be honest with you, between the IS350 and a BMW 3 Series, both of the rear seats are kind of tight. But as you can see, I'm 6 feet tall. Not even touching the headliner. Love all the two-tone. You got large pockets back here. This is where you could put, you know, a 1-pound bag of Skittles, maybe some Mike and Ike's, maybe some Jelly Belly jelly beans. I remember back in the day, like you'd only have standard flavors, a cherry jelly bean, a grape, a lime. Now when you go Jelly Belly, they got like 455 flavors. I remember when I used to teach high school, one of my students wanted me to try this jelly bean. It was snot flavored. I said, are you out of your effing mind? God. Seats though, like I said, comfy, pull down the armrests, nice and soft. Oh, almost forgot, you do have rear AC. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, why is this so high in the center? That's where the drive shaft is for the rear wheels, because this is rear wheel drive. Aha. But it's that time. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get in that trunk. Actually, let's look at the trunk. I'm not getting in the trunk. See how much room we have, because I want to take you for a spin in this IS350. All right, guys, trunk time. Real simple. Hit the button, lift it up. You got 11 cubic feet of space. Fold down the rear seat. You got a 60-40 split. Now, one thing to remember, we're going to check to see if there is a spare underneath this rear here. I'm going to get that out of the way. Kind of bothers me. Yes, on the IS350 you do get a spare. So that's a very nice touch. Let me fix this so I don't get in trouble, even though trouble is my middle name. But why don't we go ahead, if you're ready, I'm ready, let's go for a spin in this IS350 and see how it drives. All right, guys, we're behind the wheel of this 2025 Lexus IS350 F Sport Design. It's interesting because without the sun directly hitting the 4-inch digital display, I could easily see its color. Before, when the sun was hitting it, it kind of washed it out on some of the colors. Now, you do have your different modes, sport, eco, and you press the center for normal. We're gonna leave it in sport. There isn't any kind of sport plus or anything like that. Put it into drive and we are off and running. Now, what I love about the IS350 is that 3.5 liter V6. Bulletproof engine, linear torque delivery, and very smooth. The reason why they're doing an F Sport design is to give you the style of an F Sport, but not the high price. You'd be looking at around $60,000 or so for an all-out F Sport, an IS350 F Sport. But why don't we go on throttle from a dead stop? I have it in sport mode. On throttle, here we go. Like I said, I'm fine with the analog gauges. Let me know if that's really a big issue for you at this price point. The star of the show is that naturally aspirated V6. So much more refined than the 4-cylinder turbo in the BMW 3 Series. And I know that obviously there are other engine choices in the BMWs, but we're trying to keep the price point about the same, and that's something that you have to do. Is this V6 goes up against the 4-cylinder turbo. Materials on the wheel are great. I know everybody and their mother is not a big fan of the switchgear in here. Like I said, it's very easy to figure out. I don't like the screen. The screen is a shocker to me. They really just went the wrong direction with the screen. And it's not just the size, but like I said, all the dead space around it. I'm not really even a big fan how it's mounted, but like I said, it is what it is, and the star of the show is not the screen, it's the V6, the 8-speed automatic, and the interior is very quiet as well. Seats are comfy, very supportive, and having that rear-wheel drive setup just provides a nice sporty experience. Not a lot of rear-wheel drive sedans available anymore, especially with naturally aspirated V6s. But the shifts are smooth, even in sport mode. Visibility is great out the windshield. You're going to get all the Lexus safety features, of course. And if you want to use the paddles, you can. Take the shifter, pull it over to the driver's side, and then you could shift with the paddles up and down. Why don't we go ahead and go on throttle? You ready? On throttle, here we go. Handling is very, very sublime, very neutral, very predictable. So that's good news for when you're taking this on a twisty road. And one thing I'm sure you're noticing is the sound. There is sound pumped in through the speakers. It's a little obnoxious. Not as bad as BMW's, but it's pretty close. I don't know why they got to do that, because you have a V6 underneath the hood. Why do we need pumped in sound? But you have it on this ultrasonic blue F Sport design. Navigating with your daily commute, it's a good size sedan. And I just love the two-tone is what I think is making it for me. The blue with the two-tone interior really makes this particular one for me. Pulling away from the light. Love the throttle action. And you got plenty of power. I mean, you need a pass, easy, easy. Going into this right-hand bend. Very controllable, like I said. And just, it feels well built. It just does. And I like that about this IS350 F Sport design. But I hope that this has been a good, quick overall review of this Lexus. We're gonna get back to Clearwater Lexus and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, another great day in so many ways here at Lexus of Clearwater. Definitely want to thank Justin, Tyler, and the rest of the team getting us access to this 2025 Sport Design, F Sport Design of the IS350. Let me know what you think. Are you going BMW or are you gonna go Lexus IS350? As you can see, I kind of like the IS a little bit more personally. That's me. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. If you're new to the channel though, and you're on your way out, hit the subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raise Rise family. Got to give it up to Latte Lori. I am hot, and she's going to fill my need for some coolness with a Latte Lori special cold brew. If you're lucky, maybe one day you'll be able to get a Latte Lori's cold brew, but that day is not today because this guy's getting one. So thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.